In the heart of a sunburnt land nestled between golden savannas and wide, whispering rivers, there was a village called Mabane. The people of Mabane lived simply, farming millet and tending their goats, rising with the sun and sleeping under a quilt of stars. It was a land of stories and song, of hardship and hope. And it was there, in a mud-walled hut shaded by a crooked baobab tree, that a boy named Juma was born. Juma was no ordinary child. From the time he could walk, he was asking questions. At 5, he had already figured out how to trap rainwater using bamboo reeds. At 8, he could read and write in 3 languages, having taught himself with old books discarded by the village school. People said he had the mind of a griot and the heart of a warrior. Juma will be a great man, said the elders. He will bring change. His mother, a widow who worked the fields and sewed in the evenings by the light of a flickering lamp, believed this too. Though they had little, she saved every coin she earned to keep Juma in school. Education was not just her dream for him, it was her prayer. But times were changing in Mabane, and not for the better. The country that cradled their village was suffering. The price of bread rose like a storm tide, rice became rarer than gold, and cooking oil was sold in teaspoons. At the marketplace, women muttered curses under their breath as they counted the few coins they had. Inflation, the elders said, had arrived like a locust swarm. The school fees doubled, then tripled. A notebook cost what used to feed a family. The school stopped serving meals, and children fainted in classrooms, hungry. Teachers, unpaid and weary, left in droves. Juma watched it all with growing worry. Still he tried to stay. He walked 3 hours each way to the school in the district capital when the village school closed. He studied by moonlight because the kerosene for the lamp was too expensive. He stopped eating lunch. He borrowed shoes from his cousin when his fell apart. But one day, Juma came home to find his mother sitting outside with her face in her hands. "I can no longer afford to send you," she said, her voice trembling like an old drum. "We have to choose, your school or our food." Juma said nothing for a long time. Then, in the calm voice that had always surprised even the elders, he said, "Then I will stop school." His mother wept. "You are our light," she said. "You are the mind this land needs." Juma smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. "I will learn in other ways." So Juma became a boy of the village again. He rose early to till the land. He fetched water from the distant well. But even as he labored, he kept learning. He listened to the elders' stories and asked the traders at the market about the prices and politics. He studied the soil and watched the patterns of birds and rain. Knowledge, he realized, was not locked in classrooms. It was everywhere, waiting for someone curious enough to gather it. At night, he began to teach the younger children under the baobab tree. He used stones and sticks to explain arithmetic, stories to teach reading, and games to explain science. Soon, children from neighboring villages came to sit under his tree. Word spread. A merchant from the city heard of Juma and came to watch. He sat quietly at the back of the group, under the shade of the baobab, and listened as the boy spoke about saving seeds and sharing knowledge. The man was moved. He returned with books. A traveler brought solar lanterns. A retired teacher offered his help. Juma never returned to school, but his school came to him. Years passed. Juma grew tall and strong. The country struggled on, but under the baobab tree, something bloomed. It became known as the Tree of Thinking, and under its shade, hundreds of children learned for free. Juma wrote pamphlets in local languages and sent them to villages near and far. He helped families grow food efficiently. He taught women how to use ash to preserve water and how to build efficient stoves from clay. Leaders heard of him. Some were threatened, others inspired. A journalist visited Mabane and published a story called "The Boy Who Taught a Nation." The piece went viral. Aid organizations came. They offered to fund a proper school to send Juma abroad. But Juma refused to leave. "Why would I leave the roots that feed me?" he said. "This tree, this village, this is where the change begins." He knew that even the greatest minds could be lost in foreign lands if their hearts forgot where they came from. Old now, the boy who once dropped out of school sits beneath the same baobab, gray at the edges but fierce as ever. Children still gather, though the school has proper walls now, and books line the shelves. On the wall hangs a hand-carved plaque that reads, "Learning does not die in drought. It waits like seeds in dry soil, for the rains of will." And when new parents ask how a boy with no degree became a teacher of thousands, the elders laugh and say, "Juma. He was a candle in a dark time. He burned brighter when the world tried to blow him out." And that is how it came to be that in a land where inflation closed the doors of learning, a boy opened a new one under a tree, and lit the way for all who followed.